I want you to think of your style as an advocate and whether you think you're more of a tiger. The guy with the tattoos? Yeah, you're a tiger. Or a monkey, or a bird, in the kind of advocacy or the stage of advocacy that you're at. If you're a tiger, you know what that means, right? If you're a monkey, so I identify as a monkey. Lots of laughing, lots of goofing off. And I also have a theory about systems. If it ain't broke, break it. Because then you can figure out how to redo it and build it better. And a bird, you might be just learning to be an advocate, or you might be hanging back and trying to figure out what's going on, or you might be waiting until you've got data. All of those things. Now, what I want you to do is break into 3 groups. And I want the tigers here, and let's put the monkeys back there, and the birds here, and then I'm going to give you an assignment. So just think, which one do you tend to identify with more? Yeah, no, there's not. Yeah, well, screw it, you can't do it today. If I may have misidentified you because of the Semper Fi, so you go where you need to go. Here's the monkeys. That's a lot of tigers. So I don't have any birds. Are you a bird? There you go. You're a bird, so you get the choice of colors.
Oh.
I don't know what colors you want. You can have a couple of these.
Purple.
Okay.
And
It's a good choice, something somebody can see the writing. How about a blue one?
yeah.
That's a pretty blue. And here's a parrot green. There you go. Excellent choice. Yes, excellent choice. You get those colors. And you get these colors. Now, when you think about what are the characteristics of monkeys, not as advocates. Okay, tigers. No, I'm kidding. When you think about the characteristic of a tiger or a monkey or a bird, I don't want you to think about as advocates. I want you to think about the actual animals. Tell me, what are some characteristics of those animals? And make a list. And if you want more paper, you can have more paper. So here's what we're going to do. Put your fingers up in the air. When it comes down, you're going to point at the person who facilitates your group. 1, 2, 3. Who do we have? I think everybody's pointing at you. And so the facilitator role in this instance is, this is brainstorming. So you're there to make sure everybody has a chance to contribute and that everybody's contribution is recorded. Now, who's a good writer in the group? I need a recorder as well as, you're not going to both facilitate and record. That's too much power. So whoever wants to be the recorder can be the recorder. And you're going to report too. The recorder is going to have the power of the pen. Why don't you join the bird group? No, you're a bird. Come here.
I'll go with the birds.
And there's an extra chair I can get for you. Now we're going to take as much time as you need.
Thank you so much.
To just write when you think about birds, what do you think of?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sarah, when you think about a bird, what do you think? What is bird chirping?
This is, as an advocate, I assigned you here just because it was a small group.
For sure.
But so what are the
love it.
characteristics of birds?
Okay.
And not as an advocate, just birds in general. So they swoop, they can see the big picture. They,
There it is. Look at that. Very good. All right, we might need a new
All determined? I think, playful. Yeah. They're smart. They're very smart. Maybe not the Yeah, did you fly?
that's great.
All different colors.
I love this. I've never seen that before. That's a great answer.
What did you say? Oh, yeah. Got any others?
Doing okay?
Yeah. I know it seems like I like this one because I don't have to work very hard, but I really like it because it gives people a chance to talk to each other, not just over lunch.
Oh, you set the stage and. And it is a nice size.
Yeah,
You can have those conversations.
yeah.
I don't remember, do you put it tomorrow?
No, today.
You do, this, like this.
I was just talking to the front desk and they said, well, if your boarding time is 5 o'clock,
Jackson. Why do you gotta interrupt a good conversation?
can I turn?
Did you? Yeah.
I was chair and still has to transfer onto the toilet.
Yeah.
They're clean. The odds by a year and my mom and stuff at TV room and check their dates, you know. Yep, look at that.
Don't be afraid to introduce yourselves to each other or tell stories.
Oh, we found something new today, Sue.
Yeah,
About somebody we knew, but we didn't know.
there you go.
I was a zoology major.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Cleaned up some of our verbiage.
Oh,
Driven, yeah.
don't pay attention to me because I used to be famous for dropping the F-bomb in every presentation.
You cleaned it up.
monkey
afraid
first.
to introduce yourselves or tell a story about when you met a tiger? Anything that
No,
you want to do?
I'm trying to think.
Channel that Zoom.
Would you?
I said you need to channel the inner zookeeper in you.
I wish I could.
It's just
I
cool.
think
Once somebody wrote,
monkeys eat food.
Yeah?
She likes
So are they good dietitians?
That's a good point. Cause like, are they vegetarians with the bananas? Come on, we gotta talk about a banana. Monkey's bananas. Oh, bananas? Oh.
tigers, monkeys, and birds.
Oh, no, bananas. I'm sorry. Well, I was like, I know, now she's talking about.
The actual banana.
A good nurture.
I know. Children with disabilities might have different friends that have them. So, yes.
Tigers are always the longest.
I
People want to think of I usually identify them on tell me that you really like them.
How does that
Gives
work?
them
Why do I have to go? Like, wow.
That's somebody in the hall.
Who's sitting in my lap?
I'm Vicky.
I'm over here. I'm too far away today.
And she has very
I'm
rare,
bold.
1%.
I'm Mitchell. You too. You get bored.
Either our cat.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Where you come from?
Bismarck.
Look, that's why.
Carol's with us.
Huh?
Carol is with us too. Hi, I'm way down here. How are you?
Good. Yeah, water.
I went over to the brink of it.
What's your last name?
Christilli.
Hi, Carol. Story.
Thank you. And you are Mitchell.
Mitchell Miller.
Mitchell Miller?
New Miller. Yeah.
Miller. You know, I have a nephew named Mitchell.
Showing me pictures of his great granddaughter.
Oh, I don't think you
Your
need to go
dad.
there. Don't
I
go
don't think he likes me. He's like up 50 years old, you know, and it's just bitchy. So you
I don't
just,
like being called Mitchell. I've never liked that all my
I
life.
will
I have to
never
go
do
change
that.
from 4:30 to.
Ryan or Matt is called bitch. Do you prefer
I like to be called Mitchell, but not Mitchie.
not bitch?
I've never liked that all my life. No, my parents said if I got in trouble and I did something I know I shouldn't have done, my parents would say, Mitchell, Otto, you know, get over here. You're in trouble. That's my great that was my great grandmother.
Everything is okay.
First name was Otto also. Yep.
How was he? Was he a good guy? Do you remember?
Yes. He was 95 years old, 94 when he passed.
How old were you?
If you got in trouble a lot, you're probably a lot. Just say it.
Did you get in trouble?
Sometimes I did. I hope I'm not coming out with a cold. I hope I'm not coming out with a cold.
Me too.
hunting.
My voice is pretty loud, but.
It's like a daily.
Right. Good one.
Right? They get picked on because they're tiny, they're small, or like the eagles.
Are bigger. And the eagles are like this.
First time I tested it, I tested it. 15 times I did.
That's what I mean. I'm shocked.
We have a whole dictionary. Move on to describing the individuals or still describing the animal?
Just the animal. Yep. Yep. Eat their dead.
Hold on.
What's that?
They're dead. I think we're short living.
Sorceries, survivalists. Yeah.
Leave a bloody mess. People were behind them.
Cannibalistic as type?
No.
Fierce.
Yeah, fierce. That's a North Dakota nice word for tigers.
Yes.
That's okay.
Go to vet school. So, and your free kids are all.
How we doing? Everybody done? I want to force you to keep going. So which group wants to report out first? Okay, the monkeys are ready to report out. Historically, this almost never happens. Usually the tigers grab the first spot, so yeah, it's okay. You're excused.
Maybe we're tiger monkeys.
So, you want to come up here and report out?
Sure.
Okay. You can put it up, I guess you can put it up right here.
Okay, ready? Mitchell's gonna report.
That's great, Mitchell.
Here you go.
Okay, you're at the wall,
Everybody.
Mitchell. Okay, turn around. I'll tell you what the words are.
Monkeys are swimming.
Can't hear you, loud.
They're lively. Huh?
Fast?
Fat.
Fast.
Fast.
They might be fat too, but there's social,
It's social.
flexible,
Flexible.
noisy,
And noisy.
smart,
It's smart.
entertaining.
Entertaining.
They're flashy
Flashy.
because they show their penises off.
Yes, they do. Not to mention their pink butts.
Playful. Good protective.
Great. Good protectors. Very social animals, monkeys. Thank you. Excellent, Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? I think the birds are getting ready. You guys are batting cleanup today.
Yeah, they're just making us hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Sarah came up with most of these.
Great.
So, birds eat worms, right? Yeah. They fly. Yep. They come in different colors. They chirp. And what do they do in cars? So fun. Build beautiful nests. Are hard workers. Sing. They travel to place to place. They fly free. They are fragile. Other species pick on them. Gather together to fly. They are smart. They lay eggs. They come in different sizes. They take care of their springs and are warm-blooded.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Hi.
There's a couple here that I've never seen before, and I've done this a lot of times. I never saw eat worms, and I never saw they are fragile. Wow. That's very insightful, very helpful, really useful. Thank you very much. So, how about the tigers? You guys want to go up? Go ahead.
Okay. We said tigers are strong, caretaking, stealthy, fierce, determined, playful, aggressive, loyal, dedicated to the pack, cunning, strategic, a balanced mentality, collected, watchful, cautious, confident, respectful. Tigers are leaders. They have follow through. They're instinctful, territorial, driven, have an alpha mentality, protectors, vocal, have a sense of control, and survivors.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Let me see. Follow through has never quite been put that way before, so I think that's excellent. Every group of tigers says they are caretaking, and I don't buy it. But it's important that you note that tigers want to say, we are fierce in protection of someone that we are taking care of. They never come out and just say they're mean. And I think that's really interesting. But I think tigers in the wild, I would not describe them as caretaking, except they carry the little cubs around, and they are, I guess, in some ways caretaking. But sorry?
The moms.
Yeah, the mother tigers. Yep. But I think it's interesting that when you think of a tiger, you usually think of a killing machine. And the groups always come up with this idea that they are also oriented around their young and around the pack that they're in. And I think that's an interesting piece. It enables you to be more fierce when you know you are representing someone who maybe doesn't represent themselves.
We were also trying to think of weaknesses of that.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get to that. So anything else, the point that comes out to you when you look at these lists? Anything that doesn't ring true or that you think you would add something else to it? I mean, birds. There's so many kinds of birds. They're almost uncountable. And in any given environment, there will be a whole bunch of different kinds of birds, some of which are mean to each other. I mean, hawks come down and take other birds, and yeah, there's a story about a troop of, I think it was chimps, and an anthropologist did a study with them, and they said if you come in outside of the perimeter and you threaten this group of chimps, the male chimps will follow you and hunt you down until they chase you away. If you come inside the perimeter, the female chimps will follow you and hunt you down until they kill you. So sort of a really strong gender difference between females and males in that particular instance. And I always thought that was interesting because so many people in our field are women. And I think that sometimes we are thought to be weaker when in fact, we'll hunt you down until we kill you if you threaten our young. So,
I think there is a different level between male and female on that level, so I think that makes complete sense actually. You know, your relationships, yeah, right, like, there's relationships that my husband would do, right, like, he's gonna maintain the exterior perimeter, but yeah, I mean, you come into the network and, threaten something, right?
then they have to deal with you.
Right,
And
maybe
it's different.
that's just our dynamic, but it's very.
No, I think it might be the gender piece is something that I think we need to talk about more and is clearly a big part of the international scene. A lot more of the advocates are men on the international level. And I have noticed that really strongly because I am not a man. And just getting your voice heard sometimes is harder because they defer to each other. And anyway, that's something to talk about. And then the age piece. So, right, are you a little tiny tiger cub or are you a great big mommy tiger with full-grown claws? Those are really interesting things for all of us to think about in the disability world. I, frankly, would like to see younger and younger parents at this conference. I said that yesterday. And, how are we going to reach the people whose kids are going into kindergarten? Because, frankly, once you make a decision for a segregated school, you stick to it. And it's kind of hard to go back and say, you know what, this isn't really the way I want to go. And you have to kind of catch people early before they make those decisions. So now I'm going to do something that I do when I have time. And there's time. I'll give you the tigers. And I want you to go on the back and write everything that is difficult about working with the tigers. So when you're in a room trying to do some advocacy and there's a tiger fiercely taking over, what happens? So tigers, you get a choice. Which one do you want, the birds or the monkeys? I happen to know what some of the bad parts of working with monkeys are because, as I said, I identify that way. And I'm always getting in trouble for making too many jokes or fucking around when I shouldn't be. So what bugs you guys about working with birds? What is it?
Take ourselves back.
Sorry? Oh, you want to take that? You could have, oh, that's right. I would have set that up, wouldn't I? Yep, sorry. So you don't have to go into quite as much detail as before. But again, here is a place where a story might be useful if you have a story of one time when you were trying to do something and a monkey came in and screwed it up. Well, the birds just kind of hang around on the outside. And they don't really get involved.
Have they tend to not use the voice, right? So it's hard to get their voice.
You guys go for it. Dangerous, indeed, exactly. Let's write tigers up here so that we know. Are you okay as a bird? Good. messy, unserious, pain in the neck.
Boy, it's all messy.
Yes, they're messy. They're all over.
And you're not talking about any people, you're just talking
Yes,
about
the
monkeys.
monkey class.
Are we describing the animal again? Yeah.
Spooky, yeah, good.
You can't say perfectionist because they're really messy. Yeah. Same.
It's kind of easy to do this, isn't it? Brittany, you're first.
We said that monkeys maybe struggle with focus, that they're jokesters, room to allow others, well, just we kind of merged into humans instead of.
Yep.
Show off, messy, loud, distracting, vain, dreamy, lackadaisical, apathetic.
Yep. So I've heard all of those about me as a monkey, and it's true. And so when I'm working with other people, I often look around and say, who in this room is too endpoint driven to be listening to my nonsense? And who in this room understands that if you can get people to laugh together, often you can get them to think together. So sometimes I try to be more attached to the really outcome-driven people so that I can say to them, hey, wait a minute, we have to lighten this up a little bit. People aren't participating. Anyway, I think that's important. How about you guys? Who do you have? You have the birds.
We have the birds. They scatter and spook easy. They're hard to have a voice. They stick to their own. They're too fragile. They don't have thick skin. They're easy to scare off, and they'll poop on you if you give them a chance.
Right on your head, right? Well, and the thing about birds is they're sort of in the background, and sometimes they don't step forward, and everybody else is carrying the weight, and then when they don't like it, they come in and swoop down and make a stink because they don't like something. We know that happens in advocacy, right? We're all on the same team. How do we work together so that these characteristics, I think it's fun to do this exercise because I think it gives us an alternative language. Instead of going up to someone and saying, you need a thicker skin, you can say, hey, you were a bird, right? And you know, it's a way to sort of move the conversation over into a characteristic instead of attacking a person. If that makes sense? And sometimes it's a question of learning different styles for different purposes. I mean, if you're in an office with the governor by yourself, when I was in that situation early in my career, you bet I was a tiger. I was absolutely on top of the game. I knew exactly what to say. I had an outcome in mind, and I went in for the kill. And being able to say, okay, what can I do? Because my usual tendencies are not appropriate here. What can I do to try to move this in a different way? So what did you guys have to say about the tigers?
They are dangerous.
Listen carefully.
They have stripes. They are unfriendly. They have strong character. Attack like an alpha. Live in Africa or other parts of the country. Not easy to scare off. Messy. Work on emotions. Faithful to their pack. Compete. Who is their next for king? Compete in.
Oh,
Who's going to be the next?
so like the Lion King. That's really interesting. Why did you think it was negative for them to be faithful to their pack?
Because they just don't go against
They're not thinking about everybody. They're just thinking about their
own.
How many people have worked with advocates like that? They belong to some group and they're just, that's it. And they're not going to ever let anybody else come in and say, how can we coordinate this so that we all get what we want instead of just you getting what you want? Excellent. Really well done. I hope nobody was insulted or feeling, remember, these are just characteristics of animals. They're not really you guys. But it's a way to think about what we do as advocates. I have two more things I want to do, and I think I have about 10 minutes left. 6 minutes left. Take a piece of paper, just a scrap, and write on it 3 words that describe a character who's on television who's the same gender as you are. And I don't care if it's a talk show host or a weather person or a character in a comedy. Just 3 words, real quick. Just top of your mind, the 3 words that you can think of. Nope, describe them. Same gender as you. So any woman on television, what are 3 words that you would use to describe her? You can take a piece of that big piece of paper if you need it. Anybody that you think of from TV? Just do it yourself, your own character. What kind of TV show do you like? Do you like any TV shows?
He was home or I was.
What kind of shows do you watch?
I don't know.
Just quick, top of your mind. Okay, now, second, I want you to close your eyes and think of your favorite color and write 3 words that describe that color.
But we can open them to write it down.
Yes, you may.
You know, it kind of doesn't matter to me, but I still use blue. Jeez.
And now the last 3 words, do not show this to anybody else. If you're supporting someone, that's fine, but try to keep it confidential, what the answers are. 3 words that describe the ocean. The ocean. I know it's North Dakota, but hey. And then when you're done, put your hand up so I can move on. I want to point out the tigers are all done. Great, I got you guys. You can put them down. Psychologists will tell you that the 3 words you'd use to describe someone on TV who is the same gender as you, that is how you really feel about yourself as an advocate. There might be some positive and some negative in there, but it's important to understand that that's really what you think you are. And the 3 words that you use to describe your favorite color, psychologists will tell you that's how you think other people see you. Probably a lot more positive than you usually give yourself credit for.
I don't think that'd be a hoot.
A lot of times when we're out advocating, we're just worrying about what other people think of us. And you got to give yourself credit for the positive stuff as well as the negative stuff. And, okay, do not tell anybody what your 3 answers for the ocean are. That's what you think it's like to have sex with you.
What?
I told you not to tell anybody. The worst answer I ever got, one woman, I was at the University of Missouri. I was in Kansas City at the University of Missouri, and this older woman who had been on the front desk for decades just stood up and blurted out what her answer was. She was like 80 years old. She said, "My answer is graveyard for sailors." And I told her, "You're breaking the rules. You weren't supposed to say that."
How can you hold that one in?
It was such a great answer. I have repeated that story 100 times. Yeah. So thank you guys. I hope you had a chance to get to know each other a little bit or think a little bit about your advocacy styles. Good. My pleasure.